This is Studio 809.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Outdoors Hiking Bob podcast. I am your host, Hiking Bob Falcone, and you can find me on my website at hikingbob.com. Check there for all the links to my social media, my columns at the Pikes Peak Bulletin, my other podcast, my photography website, everything there, plus a contact me page, and also sign up for my newsletter at hikingbob.com. Kevin is with me today, Wild Westendorf. Say hi, Kevin.
Hey everyone, it's Kevin, Wild Westendorf here, and I'm excited to be back.
Cool. Glad to have you back, Kevin. It's been a few weeks because we've had a lot of guests and stuff like that. We had the book authors. We had a really great group from the El Paso County Parks talking about the Bear Creek Nature Center 50th anniversary, which is coming up.
Oh,
a lot
cool.
of really cool stuff going on. So we've had some people here. Time to bring you back in here. We had you on last week for the special Patreon-only podcast. We dropped some teasers about stuff we're going to talk about today. If you're a Patreon subscriber, you get that and the little secret sauce that kind of goes into making the podcast.
Yep.
So if you want to know what that's all about, sign up and help support the podcast. And it's a shorter podcast than these. Usually we try to aim for, 20 minutes, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah, try to not make it real long because, we get a lot of podcasts. I'm getting one now from somebody I listen to that they usually do a weekly one that's about an hour, and now they do a daily one. And the daily one is a little off his normal topic, but some of them got to be a little long, like 40, 45 minutes. And he was asking for input. I said, you need to leave this at about, if it's daily, about 20 minutes. And actually, I don't know if he paid any attention to what I said, but I noticed his last few have been in the 18 to 20 minute range.
Okay.
And I think when you're doing something daily, you can't, with people, especially like me, I listen to a lot of podcasts. You can't have all of them be an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours long. We're on old Joe Rogan for crying out loud. They can't all be long ones. So his is shortened up a little bit. Whether it had anything to do with anything I sent him, it beats me. But I may not have also, it also could be that I may not have been the only person he heard that from.
True, yeah.
Distinctly possible. Anyway, so a couple things going on. We're going to talk about them here real quick. If you can hear in the background, you'll hear a lot of radio traffic. I usually turn that stuff off, but those are my scanners, my police and fire scanners. And Kevin's looking at them now. There's 5 of them sitting there on a shelf, plus there's another one in the kitchen and another one in there.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That I've turned off right now that's usually in my car. And we have them on because right now we are experiencing a lot of wildfires in the state, including one near San Isabel, Beulah, Colorado City, Rye, about 100 miles south of here, I think it would be. Not even 100 miles. That's milepost 70-something, so about 75 miles south of here. That just blew up overnight into this morning. It's 23,000 acres.
Man.
It is not the only fire in the state. Things are incredibly dry, incredibly hot, and I have not left the house all day except to take Cole for walks because I've been listening to these radios and updating people all around because I'm part of a network where a lot of us listen to these radios and update them, and a lot of us are firefighters and EMTs and paramedics and ex-police officers, so we can kind of distill what we're hearing. A lot of times people listen to scanners and don't understand what they're hearing and misinterpret stuff. We're telling you that because the fire danger right now is as bad as I've seen it, worse than I've seen it since the Waldo Canyon fire and then the Black Forest fire after that, and before that a couple years, the Hayman fire, which I'm going to bet a lot of people living here don't even know about the Hayman fire. That area still looks like a moonscape. That area has been slow to recover. Waldo Canyon recovering faster, Black Forest recovering faster. This is about as dry as I've seen things in a lot of years. We've just had, and if you listen to my podcast with Matt Meister and Mary Matthews from Peaks to Plain Weather, the last one I did with them, and by the way, if you want really up-to-date information, tune into them on their YouTube channel. They're live and they're great. But this is the driest winter for snowpack since modern methods of measuring it, which goes back to about the 70s.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So this is absolutely, it cannot get any worse than it is now. It would be impossible almost for it to get any worse. I guess the only way it could get any worse is if we all picked up and moved to the Arizona desert, and the only way it could be any worse. So things are really bad out there right now. I'm telling you that because there are, we're recording this on Monday evening. Today, fire restrictions went into effect in the city of Colorado Springs. Basically, if it's an open fire, other than like your propane gas grill on your back porch, you can't have it. I'm going to be surprised if there's even any fireworks on the July 4th. Right now, the fire it started over in Aspen Acres, which is where I used to go camping, near Lake Isabel, up the road from Colorado City and Rye, and is burning all the way to Beulah.
Wow.
And the problem with that is there's one road that connects the two, and there's nothing in between except a whole lot of forest. And if Pueblo Mountain Park, which I just wrote a column about in the paper, survives that, it will be a miracle. If the town of Beulah survives that, it'll be a miracle. The fire, from here in Colorado Springs, the smoke is just blowing straight east. Apparently, it's going all the way into Nebraska because the wind is just howling. The temperature today was around 90. The humidity, as is normal for here, is next to nothing. So, folks, the only thing I can tell you is be extremely careful. The column that I'm doing this week in the Pikes Peak Bulletin will be about hiking up the West Spanish Peaks. And if you're not sure where they're at, they're those two peaks off to the right when you're driving down the interstate. And I had to actually put a thing at the beginning of that number one, fire danger is extreme. And then the other part of this is about the weather, which Kevin's going to talk a little bit about here in a minute, is that we're going into monsoon season, which hopefully will bring us moisture. But that's also going to bring us thunderstorms. Yeah. And the other part of this, when you hike the West Spanish Peaks, you're above tree line if you're doing these 13,000, 14,000 foot peaks. And you really need to plan to get off those mountains. If you're not on your way back at noon, you're behind the curve. Oh, yeah. You're behind the curve. Especially that one's one of the longer hikes. And it's just short of 14,000 feet. It's 13,600 and something. Like I said in the article, if you want to tell people we did a 14er, I'll cover your lie for you. It's close enough. So just want to give you guys a word out there. And if you're not from around here in Colorado, we're expecting the El Nino to come in here and give us those monsoons. But those of you on the East Coast are actually going to see the opposite effect. El Nino tends to dry out the East Coast. Oh, okay. So your fire, and it's already been dry out there, so your fire danger there is not going to get alleviated like we're hoping ours will in the next couple of weeks when hopefully the monsoon season hits. So just be aware of what's going on out there. I don't want anybody getting hurt. Nothing that you can do out here recreation-wise is worth anybody getting hurt over. I mean, I know that some of you may be coming out here to visit. This may be your one chance to come out here. Work on making other plans if your plans go awry because of weather or closures or fires, or in September, we're probably going to be talking about flooding, for crying out loud. I mean, we're going to be in for a heck of a ride from now to the end of the year, I think. I think it's just going to be just a mess for a while. And hopefully it's not going to be terrible. This is actually the kind of weather we used to get here some years ago. We'd get those monsoons in July and August, and they'd bring rain every day, and we would revitalize things. We haven't had that in a few years. We've just been in this dry spell. But now it's all coming to a head because we didn't get the winter snow, which usually brings runoff and kind of helps things out a little bit. Last year was not a big wildfire season, but this year is turning out to be, like I said, as bad as I've seen it since the Waldo Canyon fire, the Black Forest fire, and the Hayman fire, and the 11 Mile fire, and up north, and all those fires. It's really being pretty bad right now. There's a fire near Leadville that's burning around Turquoise Lakes. They're getting ready to evacuate. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, no. That started yesterday. It started right under Mount Massive. They're getting ready to evacuate Leadville. There's another one over by Guffey. That one seems to have calmed down a bit. There's a lot of open land out there, not a lot of forest, because a lot of ranch land out there. So that one's around 100 some odd acres and seems to have calmed down quite a bit. But yesterday when that started up, that was getting pretty interesting. Listed on the scanner was getting pretty interesting. But right now, the big one is this one in Beulah, and it's, south of Beulah, but it's headed that way. It's pretty bad. So just be aware of what's going on out there, people. Tune in. I think Peaks to Plains weather is your best bet because Matt and Mary will go live, and they've stayed live all through the night, where Matt actually usually does a 6:30 live show. He canceled it a couple last week because he was up so late the night before because of some fires that were burning. He just said, I'm not getting up that early. I don't blame him. So anyway, just keep an eye on things, everybody, and just be safe. With that, a couple of weeks ago, we had a big storm come through and did some significant damage to North Cheyenne Canyon Park, which, to be honest with you, happens about once every 2 years. It's not unusual, but it really did some serious damage there. You can't drive into North Cheyenne Canyon Park. It's going to take a while before that to open. And we could talk about that. But Kevin, you walked way up there.
Yep.
Then you did the Seven Bridges Trail, which comes off of there. It's outside the park, but you got to go through the park to get there pretty much. Tell us about your experience with that.
So there's a loop that I'd love to do counterclockwise, where I start at the very, very end of High Drive. That's at the bottom of Bear Creek Canyon, and I take that to, this is the real trail 666. I always have friends that's like, no, there's no way it's trail 666, and I was like, no, it's the Forest Service number, and I take that until it connects to what is it, 667 or 766 or
something like
that.
Yeah. It's basically the 666 is the old trail that used to go up Bear Creek.
Yeah.
And then used to be able to go way up there, but they've closed that. We can talk about that later, but they've closed that. So there's a cutoff that goes up to the top of the Captain Jack's Trail, by Mount Buckhorn. Yeah. But I don't remember the trail number.
So I take that up past Mount Buckhorn, and then the trail turns around to go west. And then I take that all the way into an area called Jones Park. It's a beautiful area. There's a lot of history out there, and it's just a giant aspen grove. It's gorgeous out there. I did a small little stop at Loud's Cabin. That's always a fun stop to make. And then I came down to the Seven Bridges Trail, and I noticed, okay, above the Seventh Bridge, but between there and Jones Park area, you have to hike for a while on a large scree field, and it's extremely narrow. There's no real trail because it's just soft dirt and sand. But there was a point where I lost the trail, and I was confused about it until I was later on down the trail. But I was just like, I've hiked this area dozens of times, and I've never lost the trail. And I got to one part where I took a step, and then my foot just the dirt just went out. Thankfully, I landed on my butt, but I slid down at about 20 feet or so. And it is wild how fast that happens too. So it's it was just an instant. All of a sudden, I'm sliding super fast, like it's a slide at a playground or something. It was crazy fast.
That scree is like ball bearings.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's surprising.
It's like sharp ball bearings because they also tear you up. But you're on that. It's just, and for people to know that, not getting too technical, the Pikes Peak granite around here is terrible granite. It's not. People used to think in granite it's real hard rock. This stuff here is real soft, and a geologist explained it to me once, and it goes back into how fast it cooled after the lava flow and whatever. But it has a lot of gaps in it, so it picks up water. Then the water freezes, expands, and it cracks. So it just crumbles, and that's where we have all the stuff from. Anyway, it's a peculiar. This Pikes Peak granite is only found here. But anyway, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But it's just that it's so rolly under your feet.
So it just happened so fast that I was just I didn't really have time to understand what I'm doing. Thankfully, I slid by this tree, so I grabbed onto that to stop. Because if that tree was not there, I would have ran into a boulder or went all the way down to the creek. So I was in no danger to my life, but I was definitely at a high risk of injury and such. But yeah, I grabbed that tree, and I just had to crawl up very, very slowly. And then when I got down to the Seventh Bridge, this was a Saturday hike that I did, and it was a beautiful day with the weather, and I was just getting ready to deal with the crowds, because once you go past the Seventh Bridge, it's empty. But up to that bridge, it's just full of families and kids, which I think is great that they're out. It can be a bit much sometimes. But yeah, I went down to the Seventh Bridge, and I was like, where is everyone? And it was spooky. And I was like, oh, I forgot about the roads being closed. So yeah, it was very weird to hike all of Seven Bridges and not see anyone. Plus, the parking lot at the top was empty. I did see a few mountain bikers and joggers once I got onto High Drive, because the Gold Camp Road and Cheyenne Canyon Road are closed to everybody, like hikers, mountain bikers, cars, obviously. But High Drive is still fine to hike on, and then I just hiked that all the way down to the end at Bear Creek Canyon, about almost a 14-mile hike. It's a lot of fun. It's beautiful. You see a few different types of environments and types of trails and such too. But yeah, it's a loop I have not done in a couple of years, so it was really, really nice to get back out there. But that's when I realized, like, oh, that trail above Seven Bridges in the Screefield, the reason I lost it is because of the storm damage. And I got to see up close and personal how bad the damage is in certain parts of Gold Camp Road that you're allowed to hike on, coming back from the Seven Bridges Trail. But there's whole parts of that road that are wiped out, like that are gone. And then there's another part that you can still hike over it, but it's clear there's like a giant landslide. And on High Drive, there are parts where it's just a lot of erosion. But yeah, I was surprised to see the damage on the part of Gold Camp that you're allowed to hike on.
Yeah, and what happened there was with a part of Gold Camp Road you're on is the part that typically vehicles, I should say cars, are not allowed on anyway.
Yeah.
So that's not part of this closure because it's typically, motorcycles can go on there, ATVs, but not cars can go on there. But yeah, that whole section there, from what you described, wiped out. What happened on Gold Camp Road, there had been Gold Camp Road is a dirt road that leads up to in the North Cheyenne Canyon, and a big section of it washed out, which has happened before many times. And then the paved road, North Cheyenne Canyon Road, is closed. And when the storm hit, it didn't wash out so much as that a lot of scree came across and it took them a while to clear it up. And I was told by some park staff that it was up to your waist. It was that deep. So they had to clear it. But what happened was, from what I've been told, is way up toward the top where the Helen Hunt Falls Visitor Center is, there's a retaining wall up there on the side of the road, an old stone retaining wall.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It is in threat of collapsing into the street. So they can't have anybody going up there. And that's about the only section of trail that's closed to the park. All the trails are open. If you want to hike up to Helen Hunt Falls, now mind you, it's 4 miles each way with 1,000 feet of elevation gain or more, I think. I forget exactly.
Yeah, it's quite a way.
You can hike up there on the trails. You can't go on the road. But there is a section of the Upper Columbine Trail, and there's with the new Sweetwater Canyon Trail, so you can get around that now. Before you couldn't, if you were closed. So they have a company that's coming in to work on that retaining wall, but they had to get a company to come out and do it who knew how to do it with the old stonework and get that fixed. They're working on Gold Camp Road, and then somebody said, well, you got all of Gold Camp Road closed. Why don't you just close the section where the damage is? Well, then what happens when everybody drives to that point?
Exactly.
Where are they going to park? What are they going to do? Turn around? Plus, you got to have construction vehicles going up there. So then they're not going to open it. My understanding is it's probably going to be a few more weeks before they reopen that to vehicle traffic. Cheyenne Canyon Road will probably be. I'm not gonna guess. They're not going to open any of the roads till all the roads can open.
Yeah,
it's just what's going to happen there. You can still hike in there. I hiked in there a ways. About 10 days ago, I hiked in there a ways. Some friends of mine have hiked in there. You can still hike in. And with the new trails in there, before the Sweetwater Canyon trails and the Mount Muskoka Trail, used to be you go up Columbine. If Columbine was closed, there's no place for you to go. You'd have to come back. Now there's a lot more trails in there. You can actually get all the way up there. You can get to the Seven Bridges Trail like you did, Kevin, going up High Drive. Or you can come up through Lower Columbine, Mid Columbine, Upper Columbine. You'd have to go around. There are ways to do that, but it would still be a long way.
Oh yeah,
to get up there. So, but it is what it is. Some people are complaining. Of course, somebody's always got to complain, and you've always got the armchair engineers who think they know how to fix things better than the people who, I don't know, went to school for many, many years and did internships and fellowships to learn how to do this stuff. They know what they're doing. And they're not closing it just because they want to close it, because they don't want to hear everybody complaining about the closure. They're closing it because it needs to be closed to fix it and make it safe. Trust me, they want it open as soon as everybody else does because they're tired of hearing everybody complain about it.
Yeah.
People are like, you just close it because you can. I can guarantee that's not why they do things. Nobody wants to do things just on a whim. There's reasons why they do it. But that road has had problems before. Remember, they closed the road for the better part of a year, and they repaved it and rebuilt the bridges and straightened out some of the curve. It is a narrow, narrow canyon with a lot of elevation gain with a creek right next to it. And there's loose Pikes Peak granite above it. So when a storm hits, a big storm, it doesn't take a genius to guess what's going to happen here. All we have to do is go back and look at 150 years of history and know what's going to happen there. So it has been rough going. Mother Nature has been playing a number on us. When I was at the park, and I was getting ready to go hiking. I was parked down at the bottom by the Starsmore Discovery Center. And I'm on the side of the road. I'm getting my gear, and people stopping me and saying, hey, I want to go to Helen Hunt Falls. Well, you're not going to get there from here. Or you can, but you're going to have to hike a long way. Or I need to get to Mount Muskoka, and my map says I'm supposed to go there. Your map is right. And Google actually has it right this time, but you can't get there. Road's closed. It's going to be closed for a couple of weeks. I hope you're not visiting here for one time. If you are, I can tell you how to hike there. But it's going to be about 8-9 miles round trip.
It's a long hike.
It's a long hike with a lot of elevation gain. And what we've been having hot weather. To be honest with you, if you're not from around here, I wouldn't recommend you do it. If you're from around here, you should by now know how to do it with the right amount of caution and be careful and do that kind of stuff. But it's going to be a challenge. So Mother Nature is doing a number on us. High Drive that Kevin talked about, at one time, it was a one-way road. And where you started out, there's a building down there. That used to be the caretaker's house for North Cheyenne Canyon. Now it's at the other end of the park. But that road used to be open, if you remember, seasonally in the summer. You'd come up Cheyenne Canyon Road, and then High Drive was one way down, and you'd come out in Bear Creek. That hasn't been open in a lot of years now. And that erosion you saw was one of the reasons why. It would get so eroded that if you kind of got close to the edge of the road, and it's a dirt road, you would end up falling into a ditch, and they were towing cars out of there all the time. But I remember driving up Cheyenne Canyon Road and down High Drive, and it was a fun drive. Now you can cycle down it. When we've had a lot of snow in the winters, people ski down it, which I thought was just awesome. Yeah. I would take a toboggan down there, but there's some turns, and you can't really turn well on a toboggan. You're going to end up crashing and burning and something like that. But it's a pretty cool place. And that trail you took, 666, I've taken that up, and then you hit Mount Buckhorn and come back around instead of going all the way up, because you went up past Kineo Peak. Into
Jones Park.
Jones Park, I knew that. Up to the old cabin. Have you ever gone past Loud's cabin and gone up to Mount Garfield? And what's the other mountain? Mount Garfield.
I'm trying to remember.
Arthur. Garfield and Arthur, two presidents.
Oh, yeah.
I forget which is which. One on the left, one on the right. That's a pretty cool hike.
Yeah.
Back up in there.
Yeah, because I followed that trail up to this like meadow.
Right. There's like the saddle in between the two of them.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's beautiful. And so I decided to do some bushwhacking to get back down instead of going down the way I came, because it's very, very steep. So it's just like, I don't want to go down that trail downhill. And so I was bushwhacking, and I'm trying to follow the map on my phone. This was years ago, but the map I had on my phone was not updated. So I accidentally went onto a closed trail, and I was like, oh no. So I just took that back, because I felt safe just being on an actual trail. But I was just like, of course, this is the one time I break the rules, and there's going to be a park ranger out here. I'm going to get a ticket.
One time the Forest Service cop is up there and going to say, excuse me, sir, what are you doing up here?
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing. And my name is Bob Falcone. If I get a ticket in the mail, Kevin, I'm going to call you up. So anyway, a lot of things going on. Like I say, right now we're dealing with wildfires, and it is really bad out there. So we can't stress enough for everybody to be really, really careful out there. And then monsoon season hits, we're going to have lightning. Again, be really, really careful of the lightning storms that we have coming this way. I don't want to dwell on that too much. 4th of July is coming up this weekend. Big year. It's the 250th anniversary of the country. I'm old enough to remember the 200th anniversary of the country. And I wasn't like a baby at the time. I was between my junior and senior years of high school. So I was damn near an adult. I'm still not damn near an adult, but I was damn near an adult at the time. So it's a big deal coming up. Kevin, you're doing something special for the 4th of July. Tell us about that. Our friends at Rocky Mountain Ride are doing something. And I love those guys at Rocky Mountain Ride.
Oh, yeah, they're great. For those of you that don't know, Pikes Peak only opens up very, very early, like twice a year or something like that, or 3 or 4 times.
A few more times than they used to, but yeah, it's not often. It's only in the summer or into the early fall months.
Yeah. And so I saw a post that they were getting shuttle folks up to the top of Pikes Peak for a sunrise hike, and I've wanted to watch the sunrise from the top of Pikes Peak for many, many years now. It just, I don't want to hike up there at night, like the entire way and the dark. And B, I just didn't want to deal with the traffic and stuff and trying to get up really early to drive up there. Well, I saw that our friends Rocky Mountain Ride are doing a shuttle, like I said. And so it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to hike back down. I haven't decided. I'm probably going to hike down the Elk Park Trail because you and I did that back in 2021 or 2022.
It's been a few years.
Yeah.
Windy as all get out of.
Oh yeah. And yeah, because I asked Nick about it, and he said like oh yeah, I don't mind if I have to stop and drop you off afterward. And then he asked me if he's gonna have to chase down a hat again.
So for context, when Kevin and I went up there, we stopped at a turn right past where we got off, and it was windy. They closed the road right after he dropped us off.
Yeah.
Because it was just so dangerous up there. But Kevin's hat takes off, flies off his head, and Nick goes chasing, and I'm like, Nick, don't go off a cliff, for crying out loud.
And it was a brand new hat that I just got from you, Bob, because it was a hat you got at Fisher's Peak State Park. And I think you gave it to me that morning, I think. And so of course it's like I put the hat on, it flies off. But yeah, I remember that Elk Park Trail being really, really fun, and plus there's a section where you go off towards an old mining establishment.
The Oil Creek Tunnel Trail.
Yes,
about a quarter mile. Yeah, they tried to drill a hole through Pikes Peak. Didn't work.
Yep. I still don't get how they got all that stuff up there in the first place. It's an engineering marvel.
There's big cast iron, old steam powered machinery.
Yeah.
Still there, because I guess they figured out, well, I'm not taking this thing back.
Yeah, and then the trail eventually connects to Bar Trail, not too far from Bar Camp.
Right at Bar Camp, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right at Bar Camp.
So I plan to stop there and get a shirt if I can, and just chill a bit and stuff, and then hike all the way down Bar Trail. And then I'm probably gonna have to get an Uber from Manitou Springs to get back to my car, but because I'm probably gonna be done hiking after that. And then I'm just gonna be with some friends for a barbecue that night. Hopefully, I'll have enough time for a little bit of a nap before that. But
so when you and I did it, Kevin, I don't think you had been on the Elk Park Trail before you and I did it, and I'd done it a couple of times. So the Elk Park Trail, for people familiar with Pikes Peak, right past Glen Cove, which is where they stop and check your brakes on the way down to make sure they're not overheated. About 2 turns past there, off as you're going up off on the left, there's a gate, and it looks like if you drive through the gate, you're going off a cliff. Which scares the first time I did that once with some relatives and scared the daylights out. They're still not talking to me. But there's a trailhead there. The trailhead takes you around the east face of Pikes Peak, and it works its way. You're just above tree line when you're there. There used to be a sign on the other side of the road from that gate that said 12,000 feet. So you hike down and you go around, and you end up at Bar Trail. And then from there, you can either make a right turn and go up to the top of Pikes Peak, or you make a left and you continue down Bar Trail. And I think, was it 12 miles?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and it's all downhill. So it's a nice hike. I mean, it wears on your hips and your knees after a while, all that downhill. But it's a great hike. You get to stop at Bar Camp. The nice thing about Bar Camp, they got really swell people there. Yeah. And if you make a reservation, you can stay there overnight if you're hiking up Pikes Peak, which I always recommend people do. If you've never done a 14 or before, and remember, Pikes Peak is one of the longest ones to do. It's 12 plus miles one way. Yeah. I always recommend making a reservation, spending the night at Bar Camp, because it's right about the halfway point. But they have shirts and hats that you can only get at Bar Camp. I've got a couple of them here, but you have to go to Bar Camp to get them. And then hike the rest of the way down. You come out at the near the base of the incline. And it's a nice hike. It's a beautiful hike. There's all kinds of trails that cut off of there and stuff like that. But it was about 12 miles, I think. Does that sound about right?
I think so, yeah.
About 12 miles one way. I've also I parked at Elk Park, hiked from Elk Park to Bar Camp and back. It's still not a bad hike, but then when you get past on the way back to Oil Creek Tunnel, there's a steep uphill for about a mile. Yeah. Coming out of there, and it's a bear. And then it's a steadier uphill because you have to break out a tree line to get back to the Elk Park trailhead. But it's a fun hike, and it's very beautiful, and you almost never see anybody up there because, I don't know, it's all official trails. It's all on the maps and everything, but nobody knows it's there, and not a lot of people go there. So it's a really cool trail, and if you haven't done it before, I would recommend people try it. If you do it one way, or if you do it out and back, remember you've got a pretty steep uphill. You'll know it because you're going to go down that hill. And there's a sign for the Oil Creek Tunnel. It's about a quarter mile out to the tunnel, and then you come back. You can't go in the tunnel. There's a big cast iron plate over the tunnel, and there's water pouring out of it. I forget what they were doing with that. I forget why they were drilling that tunnel through there. They hit water and had to stop, and they boarded it, put a big steel plate over it so nobody could get hurt or get lost in the tunnel or camp there or whatever they were going to do. And then you can hike, you can do it. But I would really recommend do like you and I did. We parked our cars at the Bar Trail trailhead. Nick picked us up at Rocky Mountain Ride, drove us up there, and then we just hiked back to our cars. And it was a great day. We had a blast. It was fun. We had perfect weather. It was windy, but at the top. And what happened was when we got on the east side, the wind was coming from the west. We had no wind. We were shielded from the wind all the way down, I think, till we got to, and by the time we got to the bottom, the wind had died down. But they closed the road right after. They closed the road at Glen Cove, which is about not quite the halfway point going up the highway, because after that, you break out of the trees and you're above tree line, and it's wide open, and there's no guardrails, or very few guardrails, and they didn't want anybody getting blown off of there and finding you in Kansas or something like that. And then they, not to go into too much detail, but we also ran into some people who were trying to hike up there, and we were hike to the top. We were trying to explain to them, there's going to be about that. Remember those two guys? Nobody's going to be able to get you because the road's closed. What are you going to do when you get there? And you and me and the caretakers at Bar Trail tried to pound it into these guys. You can't go. You're going to die.
Yeah.
They were ill prepared.
Oh, yeah.
They finally conceded and they kind of started following us down. Then they took off ahead of us, which is fine. As long as they were going downhill, they were going to be fine. But it was like trying to explain to them, there's nobody up there. There's no place for you to go. Nobody can come get you. And by the way, if the park ranger has to come get you, the highway ranger has to come get you, it's $500 a person because you're not supposed to be there.
And they were planning to hike to the top and back down in one day. And by the time they made it up to bar camp,
it was late in the afternoon, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that one guy was in awful shape.
Yeah.
I mean, like he was struggling, and then the other guy was wearing like a suit or something.
Yeah.
Or like, it was weird. I remember that one guy was just like bragging about how he was special forces and stuff, and it's like, okay, that doesn't matter on Pikes Peak.
Well, number one, he wasn't, because they're trained very well in risk management and risk assessment. Yeah. He wouldn't have been in that position to begin with, so BS.
Yeah.
Even the bar camp guy is sitting there writing down their descriptions, figuring, I'm going to have to tell search and rescue where these two guys went. Fortunately, they went down the hill. They didn't get themselves in any trouble, but it took a lot of work from you and me and the caretakers there to tell these guys, do not do this.
And I remember
this is going to be potentially deadly for you.
It was fall time because there was snow.
Oof, boy, I'm gonna have to remember.
Because there was snow on like into Oil Creek area and stuff.
Yeah, but I think some of that's just permanently there.
Oh yeah, true.
So it wasn't like summer. And it wasn't winter. Obviously, I'm not going to do this stuff in the winter up there because it's just too rough to be up there. But, it was like, you can't do this.
Yeah.
Just don't do this. I don't know. We could probably say we saved a life, but I think it was probably, I think they grudgingly allowed us to save their lives up there.
And I remember we met them before they started the hike at the Bar Trail where that starts, and Nick from Rocky Mountain Ride was trying to convince them like okay, you guys, like, this is way over your heads, like you're not wearing the right gear.
If I remember correctly, they even asked him for a ride and he refused to take
that's right.
He actually said, no, I'm not doing this, which kudos. And Nick's a great guy.
Oh yeah.
He's not going to turn down business. He's a businessman, but he also knew that he was not going to contribute to these guys making really poor decisions.
Yeah.
Which they made anyway, because we ran into these two gentlemen, try to find the right word, not to be insulting, at bar camp, and we're like, what are you doing here? Oh, we're going to go up the top. This is really, really, because when you're on that, the wind was coming from the west, we're on the east side of the peak, you did not know it was that windy. We never felt anything once we got below tree line, but we knew what was going on up there, and the caretakers knew because search and rescue talks to them. Yeah. The highway people talk to them. They're communicating all the time amongst each other, so when people get to bar camp and they ask what's going on, they can tell people what's going on. It amazed me how much of a challenge it was to tell these guys, this is a really, really bad idea, but we got it through to them. Finally. So the good thing was that they got out of there without too much trouble. Kevin, I don't know I got anything else. Just some regular stuff going on. Keep an eye on the newsletter. Goes out twice a month now because of the restrictions I'm getting from MailChimp. So I time it to go out on the same weeks that a new podcast and column comes out. So
okay.
This podcast will be out this week. A new column will be out. So at the end of this week, this weekend, there'll be a new newsletter coming out. So keep an eye out for that. And I'm doing more videos on YouTube. I haven't done any videos in a while because I haven't done anything really super fantastic. I've got one in the works for some photography I was doing, but I just haven't had a chance to knuckle down and get it done. Editing videos. There goes the dogs again. Some of these videos can be a little bit of a challenge to produce. It's a lot harder than doing the audio part of this.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, folks, thanks again for listening. Kevin, anything else before we go? I hope you and your mom have a great time.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited to hear how you do. And let me know if you hike back down. If you need a ride, I'm not going anywhere July 4th. If you need a ride to your car, give me a holler.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Let me know when you're like at the top of the incline or something.
Oh, okay, all right.
You know what I'm talking about 3 miles up. Give me a holler. I'll come get you.
Cool. Thank you.
If you need a ride, let me know. I'm not planning on going anywhere. Staying away from everything.
Yep, I think that's it. I'm excited to update you guys on that little adventure, checking off a bucket list item. And stay tuned to Wild Westendorf on Instagram and Facebook, where I will talk about that hike in detail.
Yeah, Kevin does a whole lot better job at doing videos than I do. So definitely watch it. I tend to do more produced videos, I guess, but I'm talking about a specific topic or something like that. Or sometimes I just do a brief one like, hey, check out my latest podcast and column, because I know people forget. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening to the Outdoors Hiking Bob podcast. We'll talk to you next time.
We'll talk to you later.
See you, everybody.